back cover to cover. I know this is kind of an off week. We decided, everybody was up for it, that we kind of cram a couple in here. I'm going to be coming to Florida here in April, so I'm going to take the month of April off, and we'll give everybody some reset time, and then maybe we'll get back into it. But tonight we're going to have probably one of the top 5 most fundamental albums in the history of rock and roll. Very, very influential, and that is this one. Is it going to go off? I didn't think it was going to stop. Anyway, so the Beatles' Revolver, classic album, game changer. Excuse me, I'm dry. Yes. Hang on a minute. Yeah, buddy. You know, I had full intention of picking up the box set, and for one reason or another, I never did. Because when they released that box set, I was like, "Ooh, I like it."
Dude, I love the Beatles, man. And so this was like easy week.
Well, I love the Beatles, but I've never gotten really deep into them. And I have even before this week, right? We've been talking about it backstage, man, and I've been just, dude, the older I'm getting, I don't know, the better they're getting, bro. It's just, they're freaking amazing.
Absolutely.
You hear something different every single time, dude. It's just been great. This was an easy week, bro. This was a lot of repeated listenings this week, definitely.
Yeah, I was listening. I put it on at work yesterday, and when it came to "Love You Too" and George Harrison wailing away on a sitar, my supervisor he was like, "What's that?"
He didn't know what it was?
No.
Wow.
No, he knows the Beatles. He's
right.
into rock and roll and stuff, but he doesn't know that album that well. But it that song it's different, which is kind of the fundamental thing with this album is the different stuff that they brought into it.
Yeah.
So it's their 7th album, 7th studio album by the Beatles. It was released August 5th, 1966, on Parlophone Records. So it's 56 years old.
Wow.
I think it still holds up for being 56 years old.
For sure.
Definitely.
Bro, this is timeless.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
Exactly. They recorded over about a week and a half, April 6th, April 21st of 66 at EMI, and with their producer, George Martin, been with them for basically their whole Beatles career.
Oh, wow.
Several things revolving around this record is the last album that they recorded before they decided to call it quits on touring. Um, they had gone into the studio with the intention of recording an album that wasn't specifically designed to be transferred to the stage. So there was that reason, and there was specific other reasons that were mentioned. George Martin had mentioned, and I've linked an interview with George Martin down in the description. Great interview with him on this album and Sgt. Pepper. But they had run into issues with touring, and to them it became more too dangerous and stressful, shall we say, to be out there touring. And touring was an inhibitor because they were focusing on making records that they could perform live, and they felt that stunted their growth. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
You bust your ass touring all the time. It doesn't allow a lot of room to be creative.
Right. And I think that's why they had the upper hand over all the other bands, because,
right.
I mean, come on, they were pretty much at their peak, and then they just stopped touring, you know?
Yeah.
And like you said, all the creativeness just flows out, and everybody else is having to do tours, do this, do that. So I think that's what gave them the upper hand on creating so much before other bands had, you know?
How amazing that they were able to agree to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How amazing could 4 perfect individuals come together and create something like the Beatles? I mean,
what are the chances of this band getting together? Exactly. That's what boggles my mind. It's like, okay.
As soon as the Beatles broke apart, they were never as successful.
No.
You know? Yeah, they had, hits here and there, but not like the Beatles. Not with Lennon, McCartney,
They were huge in their own right, but dude, nothing compared to the Beatles, bro. It was just it was so early in the game, and it was just freaking perfection. And they met at school. What are the odds that they went to the same school? And then Harrison, and then they get rid of the Best, right?
Pete Best,
and then they get Ringo, and you look, and it's like, okay, you could see the McCartney, you could see the Lennon, you could see the Harrison. And then Ringo's like how everybody, because dude, Ringo's fucking one of my favorite drummers, dude. He's amazing.
Absolutely.
He's fucking great, dude. And he's like Charlie, what's the guy from Watts? Charlie Watts from the Stones. Yep. Dude,
and like I said last week, Ringo being so good, he's a left-hander playing a right-handed kit.
Mm-hmm. Dude, he's great, bro. He's great. It boggles the mind, dude, that they were there. Yeah. And the way, the foresight, it's like, they were experiencing what are the ups and downs, what are the rules, and we're learning along the way. Nobody's gone this path. Maybe Elvis, but I don't know, it's just nuts, man.
Yeah. For them, it wasn't just the touring. It was they were making these films too. They did a tour. They made an album, did a tour, and made a film to accompany it. Mm-hmm. And so they were kind of nonstop for those first 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
And they come to this, and they voted down doing another film, and that left them wide open for several months to sit down and create. And here, we see the result of that. Not that the previous album, Rubber Soul, also a game changer. It segued the group into more album focus than their previous albums, which were more singles driven. And that album, the two tandems of Rubber Soul and Revolver. I know that we mentioned it last week. Some people like to hit their pivot point. Either they pick Rubber Soul or Revolver, and I've always thrown these two together, like kind of a double album idea, because they both kick off a different direction in their career, specifically with bringing a more psychedelic sound. But Rubber Soul was still hot when they went into the studio to start recording. When they started writing and went into the studio, it was it had been on the top the charts for like 8 weeks, I believe it was. And then they go into the studio and do this, and then this tops the charts for another 6 weeks after its release.
And
So it's like,
I think the crazy part about that is when this album came out was the height of the Bigger Than Jesus controversy.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it still rose to the charts and became one of the greatest albums of all time.
Now in the UK, it didn't seem to affect it that much, but in the US, there was some effects to it.
Yeah.
But
it's just amazing to me that they could just bring heat every album. They don't have a single bad album. It isn't just riddled with amazing songs. You know? And to do that, like boom, 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 one after another. You know, you got bands now, they cut an album every 2-3 years, maybe. And you might get one, they might get one play on the radio, you know, one song.
Right.
Some artists do like
some artists don't even get radio
5
play.
or 10 years. Like, it's crazy how much they can spread their albums apart. And they were doing 2 a year.
Yeah. I mean, seven albums. This is their 7th album in what amounts to basically 3.5 years till from 62 to this. So, well, 4 years, but
Dude, they're the Michael.
That's amazing.
The Beatles are the Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, whatever you want to call it, of music, bro. I'm sorry, they just don't.
Yeah.
You listen to all their albums, dude. Almost every album is not just filled with good songs, bro. It's like freaking. They're all. It's like 10 albums of greatest hits.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
just
really what it
the biggest freaking songs ever. It's these guys were just, you know, I've been thinking in my head, should I make this comment? But fuck it, I'm gonna make the comment. Last week we did the Who's Tommy, and then we heard that album, and then you hear this, and it's like, dude, they're not even on the same freaking galaxy, bro.
No.
Completely different.
It's a whole different galaxy. It's totally. I don't know. Every time it's going to be my turn to talk, this is pretty much all you're going to hear. It's like, this is just
both influential in different ways.
Everything, man. Everything. They were just style. Dude, they were the boy band, and then they turned into. You don't even think of them like a psychedelic band, and dude, they're probably the most psychedelic band there was.
Yeah, and that was one of the. There's another video that I linked in the description below that mentions about the psychedelic and how there were other bands that were doing psychedelic stuff, but the Beatles had their star power that pushed psychedelic closer to the forefront. Yeah, you know,
right.
It just.
It's like
it wasn't overly psychedelic like what Dream did and stuff like that, which I think helped keeps it kind of timeless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't think of them as psychedelic, but they were. They definitely were, man.
Yeah.
And not to
Especially
mention just the recording tricks and stuff that they created, you know, with sounds and different techniques, and you know, for the whole recording process was just for the time.
The backwards masking and the variable speeds and the automatic double tracking, which was basically invented for the production in this album.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
not to mention the layering. You know, they would layer so much too, sounds and.
Dude, that's what I love, man. It's just just hearing it, like this. We were playing. I'm horrible with song names, but before the show, that song that we were that I had on. Just you hear the guitar, and it's just like a couple of. It's like you know, and then he'll stop, and then he'll bring another lick, and it's like, dude, that's just fucking badass, dude.
Like Taxman, yeah.
Oh.
Just you hear just like up.
Yeah,
up and down and up. You know,
it's simple.
It's simple, and that's something Paul. That's the one thing Paul always said on how he told John about George is like, I know this guy and he plays real raunchy. You know, so they brought him down and he plays, and that's how Paul was referred to George's playing was raunchy sounding, which I agree. You know, it's pretty simple for the most part.
Yeah. But it's not, dude. It's
not exactly.
It's just perfect. And I'm a big Radiohead fan, and dude, and I just feel that Beatles influence and all of that, because a lot of their guitar is just like that. It's just like sharp cuts, and those they stay with you, and it's like, oh, dude, you know, like it's just I see the influence, bro. These guys were my turn to gush again, dude. These guys were on another level, dude. These guys were the alien Martians. That,
absolutely. Yeah.
Just crazy.
So I've mentioned this album, this book before. Take a wild guess at where this album is in the list.
Number 1.
Top 3.
Number 5.
Whoop, wrong page. Jesus, that's terrible.
Number 1.
Jeez, and I figured Sgt. Pepper would have been number 1.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Number 2.
It's number 8.
Actually,
Sgt. Pepper?
Yeah.
No
Sgt.
way.
Pepper.
It's in top 5 for sure.
Nope.
Top 10. Wow.
It's number 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well.
That low, he says.
Yeah. And then they probably got what, 3 in the top 10? They got Rubber Soul?
4.
They got 4 in the top 10?
4 in the top 10. Abbey Road, Revolver, Rubber Soul, and Sgt. Pepper.
Damn.
But you guys were talking about George, and this album's recognized as the album where he started to come into his own as a writer, a songwriter. Taxman being one of those.
He got the first track on the album, like
yeah,
for being the third member, and Paul and John being the forefront, for him to get the first track.
Yeah,
I think shows how good he was doing on this one.
Right.
This is one of his stronger albums.
I think he had, how many songs did he have on this album? He had
3 or 4.
Because usually what the Beatles did is like every album, Ringo would have 1 track, George would have 2 or so, and then John and Paul would have the rest.
Right.
So I think he had more. I would think. I mean, maybe he had.
Taxman, Love You Too, and I Want to Tell You were all his. And then Ringo is always known for the more campy tunes like Yellow Submarine, which is on this, or Octopus's Garden.
Who's that? That's Ringo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they mentioned in here about how George just absolutely shreds throughout the album.
You could hear it. Dude, he's amazing.
I mean,
from Taxman, dude, he gets kicks it off with Taxman, dude. That song is hard, man.
He is and will always be the best Beatle. Wow. My opinion.
Dude, you don't got no argument here, bro. No, you got three very strong contenders for that. So there's no wrong answer. Dude, when I was a kid, I got introduced to the Beatles. I think I would hear them in passing, although my parents didn't listen to American music, but I guess you would hear about the Beatles. Bro, and one day during the day, afternoon, movie, whatever, on a weekend, bro, and they played Yellow Submarine. And dude, that shit just blew my mind as like a 6-year-old, dude. I've been in love with these guys, the Blue Meanies, forever, dude. Yeah. I just freaking love the Blue Meanies and Nowhere Man, and that. I know it's probably childish, but dude, that was so good. I know.
I got a good Beatles story. How I came to terms with the Beatles.
How was it?
When I was in elementary school, is when I discovered my love for Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm.
And going into middle school, I mean, Elvis was my life.
Right.
And I hated the Beatles. The only reason why
just
I hated
because,
the Beatles,
just because?
No, I hated them because always watching the scene from when they come to America and they're at JFK, mm-hmm. and the reporter asked them, hey, so you guys are like a bunch of young Elvises or whatever. And then Ringo, being a smart ass, is like, no. I'm like, that motherfucker's making fun of Elvis Presley. Bullshit. I said, screw the Beatles. I hated them because I thought they were making fun of Elvis. And this before I knew that Elvis was an influence and this, that, and the other. I'm like
their biggest influence.
I'm like, screw the Beatles, man. Literally, like 2 years later, I had like friggin' 20 cassette tapes of the Beatles.
You were all in.
I was all in and never looked back since.
I got in the Beatles probably the weirdest way. It's kind of weird, but the Beatles Rock Band video game.
Oh, really?
For real.
Like their music there?
Yeah, because it was basically a full game. It was like every one of the, at least like a big chunk of their songs.
I introduced it to them.
Yeah, it's just playing that over and over again, and that's kind of like and everything. Now
my kids used to play that, but I forgot all about that thing.
Yeah, that was like forever ago.
Yeah, that was so popular. Remember when you would press the buttons on the guitar?
Yeah.
Every time.
And I got really good at it.
And then you would shred, and then you would hold it. And, yeah, I remember watching I never was good at that, but
we had the drums and the guitar going for that game.
Wasn't there a singing part as well? Wasn't there a mic?
I think there was.
Thanks.
I think there was, man. There was the vocal part too.
Yeah,
that was crazy. That seems like ages ago, right?
Doesn't it?
Gosh, that sounds like it feels like, but it was like 15, 16 years ago, right? Mid 2000s.
Yeah, I would say early. Well,
maybe earlier than that.
I think about like 2005, 2010. That's what around.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, I'm sorry. We've kind of gotten away from the Beatles. Yeah. Sorry about that. We went on a tangent. How about that cover, Donnie? How about that cover?
We're still talking about the Beatles. I was just going to mention the fact that a lot of people, the first Beatles song that they hear is like "Love Me or Do" or "I Want to Hold Your Hand." Mm-hmm. Mine was "I Am the Walrus." So
really,
that was one of my favorites.
My mom had it was "Hello Goodbye" and I Am the Walrus.
On the B
He
side.
had the 45,
Yeah.
and I put it on just randomly. I just put it on. I didn't know what side I was putting it on because I was like 6, 7 years old, something like that. And it put the needle on, and what is this? Because if anybody knows I Am the Walrus, it's like a psychedelic nightmare.
It's such an amazing song.
Yes.
That's Magical Mystery Tour is probably my might be my favorite album.
It's definitely in the top 3 for me, at least.
I love Magical Mystery Tour. The album is way better than the movie, though. A little.
I never saw the movie.
I'm sure.
The movie's weird.
It's weird. It's psychedelic.
Yeah, never
Not quite as weird as the Yellow Submarine, but
dude,
Help was pretty weird.
I liked Help though. Help was good.
What's something weird when somebody tells you, you want to hear a stupid ass fact about myself?
Go for it.
Is that what people say? Is that how you want to hear a stupid ass fact about myself? Is that the way they ask, or you want to hear a little tidbit? What is it?
I don't know.
How do you do it?
Okay, my little stupid ass. Dude, I know all the words to I could sing Yellow Submarine. I know all the words. I know the fucking instruments when they play. We are in the town where I was born.
That's how I am with like I Am the Walrus and Penny Lane and all them songs.
Dude,
Strawberry Fields.
For me, it's Yellow Submarine, bro. I know I made it a point to learn the lyrics of that fucking song. Of all songs, that's the one song I think I know all the lyrics and I could sing it all the way through. That would be my karaoke song. That would be my karaoke song, guys. I wouldn't even have to read, But okay, never mind. Back to the show, Donnie. Sorry.
It's such a weird song too.
It is.
If you think about it, just like Octopus's Garden. So, what is going through Ringo's mind when he creates these songs? I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's he went on some good trips. Let's just say
that. A little bit had touched on it about how this coincided with the huge controversy of
Paul?
John saying that the Beatles were bigger than Jesus, and there was some people. I think George Martin even touched on it that it was kind of a dumb thing to say at the time, but really he was kind of right because there was less and less people going to church, and it seemed like there was more popularity going on, which it may or may not have rekindled an interest in the church at the time. Obviously, there was a lot of people that took it to heart because they were burning records and so forth like that. It's like,
I think there's
burn your records all you want. They already got your money.
There's one image of like almost like a landfill.
Yeah,
like a giant bonfire of all their albums.
You guys, okay, so they said that, right? We're bigger than Jesus. And then Sinead O'Connor, in like 86, she tears up the Pope, right? Remember, she got blacklisted, boom, bah, bah, she's done. Madonna, kind of like with, like a virgin, was very, it was kind of a hit to the church. If something like that were to come out today, dude, I don't think anybody would care, right?
Nope, nobody bat an eye.
Nobody would
guarantee it.
Care.
Yep.
What were we gonna say? But then what?
Oh no, nobody would bat an eye.
Nobody, right?
Nope.
No, there's no shock value really anymore. It's all pretty much been. I mean,
thanks, Alice Cooper.
And that was such a freaking big deal.
No WAP,
Dude, we really move fast, dude, and it's changed so. Dude, if you could withstand something for 2 weeks, right? After those 2 weeks, bro, everybody moves on to something else, and you're usually good.
That's the thing. They don't create legends no more. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Like a prayer. But it's crazy. What's up, Gore? But it's nuts how times have changed, man. Nobody bat an eye. Kanye West, hey, I'm Jesus, or nothing. Okay, sorry. I apologize again.
No. I mean, it's part of the.
I feel like I'm going on tangents. I'm sorry.
It's basically part of the story of this album. I mean,
yeah,
we can't not talk about it. Another landmark of this was the last album of theirs to be released to have a different release in the U.S., which is something that the record company was known for. I don't think just with the Beatles. I think there was some other bands that they had done this with, but they would cut it down to 10 or 11 songs, and the UK release was usually a 14 track record, but they would cut down the US release, and they said no more of that. That's done. And so this was the last one for them to have done that. I can't remember the 3 that they cut off. I think Dr. Robert was one of them.
Was there any reasoning for them to do that? Do you know of?
I honestly don't know. I didn't come across any reasoning for it, other than just product or record companies on a power trip.
Well, it seemed like other bands did that that I've noticed, like even in the 90s and stuff like that, of bands I was listening to, you'd get like the import version would have like an extra bonus track
right
on it. So I don't know why they would do that, you know.
Like, my God, do you remember that and buying albums? Oh, I got the Japanese. I remember the Iron Maiden Japanese import was a good one to get, bro.
Yeah, made in Japan.
Made in Japan.
Yeah.
And it was the import. You remember they had the whole little section and like Specs or wherever you buy your, and it was the imports. It was like, oh wow.
That's the one that had that rare cut of women in uniform, I think.
Cool. And that's the thing. You would get all these rare cuts on those, man. It was so badass. Yeah. Even into the 80s. I remember going to the music store, and it was like I was into the industrial music, and you would get all these imports from, real cool. Damn, man, miss all that shit.
I think the other reason might have been as far as in other countries, maybe more regulations were freer as far as what they were allowed to do on releases. Another thing was money grabs, because I know with the Beatles they doubled up on them because they were basically taking and making compilations out of previous records,
right?
Just like Yesterday and Today. It's basically a compilation of Revolver, Help, and Rubber Soul. Another thing is the amount of recording time. 220 hours they spent total recording, including final editing and so forth on this album versus a mere 80 on Rubber Soul. So they definitely spent a lot of time on this record, and it shows. Shows what they were doing, bringing in all those other instruments, some of which they had used on Rubber Soul, but not to the extent that they did on this album.
I think the best example of that is Sitar, because they used it for Norwegian Wood, but 2 tracks in this album.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to the onto the cover. Damn it. Share screen. Where am I at here? Chrome tab. This one. Boom. So the cover was done by Klaus Vormann, who was a longtime friend of the Beatles. They had known him since touring in Germany early in their career. And he was also the bass player for Manfred Mann, who was another British invasion band. But Klaus took line drawings and collage and used photos that had been done by Robert Freeman of the band, and to make this cover. And it's just a crazy cover. It's going to stick out to you. And the other thing that was mentioned was their previous albums were legit photos of the band,
Right.
whereas this was the first one that was not. And it's something that they kind of repeated with Sgt. Pepper, with it being a collage style cover.
Donnie, we're all into comic books, right?
Yes, sir.
You would look at this and would you say, "Damn, that's some good art."
Yeah.
If you saw it in a comic book.
Oh yeah.
Not the collage part. I'm talking about just the faces.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't consider it good art. It's not appealing to me.
It's very stylized.
It's very simple.
Yes. And by me saying that it's not, it's fucking gorgeous, bro. It's beautiful. It sticks with you. You know exactly what it is when you see this album cover. You know, there's no mistake in it. The heads are all the only one that's looking at you is George. The other ones are just Ringo, just Ringo looking up, gazing. It's gorgeous, dude. But it's not like my favorite art, but it's gorgeous. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just the Beatles love, and it's making us blind, it's like, but I think
I always thought John drew it. That's kind of like how, John, he was into art and stuff, and his art wasn't, the best either.
I could easily think that too, bro.
Because if you look at it at first glance, it looks like, a 15 or 16-year-old might have drawn it.
Exactly. It's freaking classic.
It works, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad for the black and white, no color at all. Color would definitely not make this better. It's just gorgeous.
I think I think me personally, if it was me, I would have filled in the whole left side where it's just blank white. I would have done something collage or.
Yeah. I totally get that. I totally get that, dude.
Something like a little Easter egg or something. Klaus is actually on the album cover.
Which one is he?
He's in George's hair, right under John.
Right under John's lip.
Okay.
That's the artist.
Oh, okay.
You can barely see him on there, but
yeah,
he's definitely on there.
But it's his photo.
Nice.
It's haunting, dude. I don't know. George Harrison's. That one's just haunting to me, man. The eyes. I don't know why, dude. It's just.
You notice he's the only one with full lips too.
True.
It's almost. I mean, it is a line drawing, so but it's almost like an unfinished drawing, almost like a statement of the, this is just the beginning,
Right.
This is, the start of a new chapter or what, and all these photos are pieces of where we've come from, where we've been, and this is where we're going.
Yeah.
And not to mention with George being the one looking at you, and he's the one different one.
Right.
Like we talked about, this is kind of the album where he kind of came out of his shell and,
good point,
showed the world what he was capable of as a singer and a songwriter. Even though he did do, other stuff in the other albums, but from this point on, he wrote some good stuff.
You know what this art is? This is 1980s in indie comics art.
Yeah.
That's basically what this is. And it's just gorgeous. And the unfinished is that white space that you described, Bo. That's the unfinished part.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's coming next. Because
it definitely looks like 80s all over it. Like you said, even the hairstyles with the drawings and everything, it just looks like it does. I never really looked at it that way, but yeah.
Art. This is indie art, man.
And I think that's what I like about it is it's raw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I for some reason that's always appealed to me.
Dude, it's 42 minutes and we haven't even started on the songs.
No, real quick before we start on the songs.
No, we don't have to. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
Some of the names the alternative names that they had that they would have used.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah, the names that was up in the air for this album besides Revolver.
What was it?
They were. I'll let him take it away.
So the one which was Beatles on Safari, which would have been weird.
That sounds like Elvis with Blue Hawaii or something, right?
Yeah.
This one actually did like the four sides of the circle. That one's kind of interesting.
I like that.
Fits the album cover pretty well.
I like that.
The third one, which was After Geography, which was after Rolling Stones.
Yeah, after Rolling Stones, they had Aftermath, and Ringo suggested, how about After Geometry?
See, and I never knew that about that Rolling Stones record.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I never knew that at all. I just thought Aftermath,
But the by far the weirdest one, which was Fat Man and Bobby and Abracadabra.
Yeah, that's the one I liked. I liked that one.
And then they just settled on Revolver.
But it's the story behind that title.
Okay.
It's what does a record do? It revolves.
Yeah.
I've actually seen an alternative cover of the art that's compressed into a picture of an actual revolver.
Oh wow.
It's really, really cool looking. And it's like in the style of the actual album cover.
I heard that one too. That one delves into the McCartney. McCartney
dead, right?
is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing. Why he's barefoot on Abbey Road.
Yeah. All the little clues.
Yeah.
I got so deep into that because I was
Did
like,
you really?
this is real.
Oh yeah, this kid was watching videos after videos after videos on Paul's dead conspiracy stuff. I'm like, dude, he's alive. Get over it. Come on now.
He's alive.
It's like,
get over it.
It's like dumb, but 80s.
Get over it.
I like know every single clue and everything.
Dude, but how smart of them, dude, just to play that game with fans and get people talking about them. And dude, it's great publicity, you know?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God, just such a mystery behind this band. And it's like, oh, they're all heartthrobs. And one of them might be dead and it was a body switch. Oh my God.
the thing that actually came out with it, it was some like college newspaper
Look
or
at that.
something said something about it. From there, it just spread to like this big conspiracy.
And you
That
think they were complaining, bro? They were like, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
These people didn't know, man, what they were the pioneers, man, going through all this shit, this stardom and all that. Because Elvis, yes, but he was one guy, dude. These four guys, and as big as they were, and those egos, of course they couldn't last forever, man.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the one thing about Elvis too is he didn't write any music; he sang everybody else's music.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know.
But,
Yep.
But the Beatles reigned while he was making the movies for the 10 years.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
which I think
Yeah, and they had I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
pretty much after Beatles for Sale, they stopped doing covers completely. Because Beatles for Sale had like 6 covers in that album, and like a handful of ones that were actually written by them. And after that, they're like, we're just gonna write our own stuff. And
Yeah.
Right.
But in the old days too, man, bands, that was a common thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
People
They
covered
do other
everybody's song, especially in
Yeah,
the 50s, man. That was real big in the 50s.
Do each other's stuff. Yeah.
They sometimes do it better.
Yep.
Yes, it's amazing the journey of this band all the way from a skiffle group.
and the fact that it only lasted 10 years,
Mhm.
like within the span of 10 years, they went from Please Please Me to Abbey Road. And the evolution, and not just their music, but their style. And
It's amazing.
Mhm.
it's crazy.
It's insane, dude. They were like the first ones, though, man. It's like, God, they've said it just. It was
It's amazing. It's amazing how progressive the times were because, like you said, when they come on the scene in '64 in the U.S., dude, suit and tie, this, that, and the other, and just what 4 years later, whatever. I mean, what this to that to the suit and tie boy band to
What they were wearing on the rooftop, and
to
Beards.
Magical Mystery Tour, Sergeant Pepper, and yeah.
Can you imagine what a roller coaster that shit must have been going that fast, bro? Because usually you change over a few years and it's okay. This was like every year was like, okay, and now we're getting into, the Far East music, and we're getting into this. Oh, and look what we just discovered. Oh my God, and we're going to have to handle this. And everybody.
Yeah, man. Music was really progressive, and they helped make it
It's
go to that next level. Every album, they upped the game. Every album, it seemed like they upped the game for everybody else.
yes,
and that started. I guess you could say it started with this album, but Sergeant Pepper with the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, and then Tommy and all that stuff.
Pet Sounds is something I ran across in the research was that John and Paul had gone to in the midst of recording this, they had gone to a private listening party for Pet Sounds. So it's like the various cohesiveness and the crossing of bands, like the fact that Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones sang backing vocals on this. Marianne Faithfull, who Mick Jagger was dating, sang both backing vocals. Patty Boyd, who was George's wife, but their girlfriend at the time, and some of the other various contributions from outside the band.
Yeah, no doubt. Willie Nelson.
It's crazy, but
he took a sharp turn
Mm-hmm.
from the clean cut fella to the outlaw.
They didn't know what to do with him either.
Dude, it's such a fast change. That's crazy.
And I mean, I wasn't alive back then, but what do you think caused the fast change? Just, I mean, was it the war, the Vietnam War? Was it? I mean, what?
It was everything. It was everything together. It was
I mean, it was like a
There wasn't a shortage of things to write about.
yeah.
I think
Honestly, the Beatles couldn't have been the way that they are if they weren't in the 60s. If the Beatles started in 72, they would have been nowhere as like changing as they were if they were in the 60s. They were in such like renaissance almost through the time, and just everything that's happening with the war, the hippies, and all that come off of like Elvis and stuff to going to Abbey Road. Like, it's such a big change, and it couldn't have happened in any other time but the 60s.
right.
Very true.
Yeah, the 60s was an explosively creative period. I mean, look at Bob Dylan. That's another prime example.
I know, and you think, just years before, it was all doo-wops at the soda pop store in the corner and
Greasers and
to
all that stuff.
smoking hash and singing about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds,
I always look at Lucy in the Sky. Yeah, exactly. I always look at the 60s like, dude, that's the decade when the United States became an adult. Let's say the United States were a person, right? That's when they became an adult.
When all those baby boomers were
when everything changed. Yeah. When everything wasn't, oh, you know what? It's not all white picket fences, it's not always white, it's like
like Gore said, post World War II, all the baby boomers were getting of age, and
and then their kids were like, hey, you know what, dude? It's not really the way you see it, bro. Open your eyes.
Plus drugs, all the drugs were
That's
on the rise.
Open your eyes, man. Open your eyes.
The technological advances during that period was definitely aided in all this. Like I mentioned earlier, the automatic double tracking, which is a standard now, came to being with this album. So and they had said about the way they had done it before by singing those tracks again, which John Lennon hated doing that. So this thing was definitely a relief to him. Space Race.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess we're almost an hour in, and as Raul had already previously mentioned, we haven't even talked about the songs yet.
Bro, we haven't even broken down the songs, and there's a lot of them, dude.
14 of them bad boys.
Oh my God, that's the only thing I got on my computer right now, because I was like, dude, I can't remember all these songs. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Talk about an opener. Just a weird. This book even mentions that about how they just that kind of monotone.
Talk about a timeless song. What George sings about in Taxman still applies.
It applies today. Yeah,
bro. When you listen to, like, you hear the song, right, and the first thing you hear that great. Because I'm the tech, it's such a jammer, weird song to start off with. But then when you actually pay attention to the lyrics,
yeah, man.
Oh yeah,
the lyrics are, dude, spot on. I think that what gets me about this song is the lyrics are just beautiful, and they tell a story. You could see it happening, right? It's like you could see it like almost like a comic book. Okay, and that's this, and that's great song, man. Great freaking song.
Plus, I think the bass.
Yes.
One of my favorite bass lines is in Taxman.
Dude, and Ringo, just with that simple drumming, dude, during that jam, it's awesome, bro. It's so good.
What song? What was it? A song with Ringo's drums? They still haven't been able to imitate since.
I think it was pretty much they use it for the whole album.
Was
where they stuffed the bass drum.
Yep.
The famous letter. It was
the mic did into a
They were wearing these sweaters and they had a letter of their initial on it. And I guess they used one of them, put it in the bass drum, mic'd it up and stuff, and haven't been able to replicate that sound since.
Wow.
they mic'd it to a Fairchild 670 compressor, stereo compressor. And it's what created that mono sound.
And if that ain't lightning in the bottle, I mean, come on.
Right?
Even Ringo himself has been still trying to recreate that.
Right.
Dude, they're almost
Like they were meant to be superior musicians of all time, you know, for all the stars to align, for certain things like that, for the stars to align and all four of those guys come together. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's like, you know, you're a quarterback, you get picked last, you start winning all these Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You may have a baby, a son with this beautiful TV star, but then, hey, you know what? She's not for me. I'll marry the supermodel. And then I'll just keep winning Super Bowls. Hey, bro, quarterbacks play to 35. I'm like 42, man. I'm still good to go. It's just people that are just blessed.
You're talking about somebody specific?
Yeah.
It's something like that, you know, and it's just amazing. Dude, and then just their stories after they break up. It's just
the stories, period.
they're like they become like a myth, bro. They become like
they really do.
The Odyssey, you know. It's just crazy.
Wonderful.
You cannot write this story.
Exactly what he just said. The eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah, definitely.
That's perfect.
Dude,
I'm surprised they haven't made more movies, you know, bioflicks about like mainstream biopics.
I just think it's crazy, and I wish that they would have done more documentaries like what they did for Let It Be. If they would have did those for every album, I would be happy.
Yeah.
But even still, like, you know, off from this album, but even, sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
But even for like the filming they did for the whole Let It Be album, nobody did that back then. Nobody did that kind of stuff.
Even like come up with the idea.
These guys were so ahead of the time. It's ridiculous.
Go ahead. No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say, along those lines, I would have liked to have seen footage from when they were filming. Oh my God, that's terrible. Deep Purple record that we did.
Yeah, Machine Head.
Machine Head. Wow. I mean, to have seen footage of that fire.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I know there was other bands that did stuff, you know, they'd film a little here and there in the studio or something like that, but
not the full recording.
But the like, I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but it's like brilliant, you know.
We got about halfway through.
But to just, you know, you're filming their conversations, their arguments, their this, their that. I mean, you're getting the whole thing, part of their recording process, you know.
We're like the Kardashians before the Kardashians.
You know, the one thing that I noticed, and my wife and I were talking about this,
except
the whole thing with Yoko breaking up the band. If that was the case, that was not evident in that documentary.
No.
I mean, she was just there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
they were just all growing apart, man, all around. It wasn't just she was just somebody's gonna get blamed, you know.
Yeah.
It's like somebody passes away, there's gonna be two family members that are not gonna be happy with each other.
Right.
You know, that's just a given almost at every funeral. Something's gonna happen. It's the same thing. They can't keep all those egos, man.
I think that was a big part of that. The blame on Yoko probably came from the fans.
Yeah.
But even George Martin had said that John and Paul had started to
break apart,
be more competitive.
mm-hmm.
in every aspect of the band, which was good creatively, but in the end, it probably
it caused a lot of heat later on between Paul
Right.
and George.
Right.
It's like we can't get mad at the Beatles. Let's get mad at Oko. She's the one. She's the one. Even that's a good story, The woman, this beauty didn't. I mean, the man didn't kill the beast. Beauty killed the beast.
Beast killed the beast.
Yeah. Beauty killed the beast. Dude, we've only gone one song.
It'd be a 3-hour.
Eleanor Rigby tour.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, these songs speak for themselves.
Donnie, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
How about this week? What's the worst song?
There isn't.
my worst song, which is pretty hard to do. I'd probably say Dr. Robert was kind of my least favorite.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, I like that one.
You like that one?
You like Dr. Robert?
Yeah.
I don't like Dr. Robert.
It's
I'm sorry, dude. But again, I say that, and it's still a good song.
I think probably one of the Beatles' most underrated songs is on this album, and that's She Said. That one's like super underrated.
That's a great song, dude.
Yeah.
That's a great song. But dude, even man, it's crazy.
I could probably go the rest of my life without hearing Yellow Submarine again.
Of course, you're gonna say the Yellow Submarine.
I'm sorry, Raul.
See, I'm not tired of those. The only song that I would be happy not hearing again is "She Loves You" or "Please Please Me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are really the only two that I'm like, okay, I've heard those enough.
Yeah,
But everything else,
Yeah.
it's even got to the point where I'd rather listen to the German version of She Loves Me or She Loves You and
I Won't Hold Your Hand.
I Wanna Hold Your
another
hand.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear that
the
again.
German versions. I go to those now instead of the.
Dude, but even where's this song? Good Day Sunshine? Fuck.
Oh,
Dude, that's in commercials, man. You hear that song in commercials
God.
today.
I think it's a tie for the favorite, and that's I'm Only Sleeping, and what was the other one? Here, There, and Everywhere is the tie for favorite,
Those are your two favorites?
and that might be like for all time, pretty much.
Dude, I'm Only Sleeping is amazing.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite song on the album.
That's
Backward
And that's hard to say because I love Eleanor Rigby.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
And Your Bird Can Sing, I really like.
That's another.
Which one are yours, Donnie?
I was always a big fan of Gotta Get You in My Life, but I want to tell you it's probably my favorite song on the album.
For No One, that's another like
Yeah.
hitter.
Which I Want to Tell You is your favorite?
Yeah.
Dude. You know which ones are my favorite? I really like I'm Only Sleeping.
Yeah.
But my favorite two songs are Love You Too. And dude, I love Tomorrow Never Knows. My God. That shit is amazing. Those might be my two favorites. But God, bro, it's the greatest hits, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But every one of their albums is just like that, man. Start to finish, great songs.
Dude, I'm Only Sleeping is an amazing song, dude.
It's very mellow, but it also has like especially right before the bass, like the guitar sounds so downstrung and loose when he hits that, like he all 6 strings at the same time, all upstroke.
Dude.
You know, it's crazy because, you know, most bands, they might have like 2 songs that are good. The Beatles, they might have 1-2 songs out of their whole collection that's bad.
That are bad.
Honestly, I'd put the Beatles in the same boat as the Ramones. Like, every album is good, and they have like at least a handful of songs.
Mm-hmm. We gotta do the Ramones on here.
We really do. That's
Yeah.
I gotta say, their self-titled is my all-time favorite album.
We gotta do the Ramones.
Put that on there.
That's in here.
Okay,
That's
good.
in here.
That needs to go on the list. Yeah, I need to do that one.
Dude, this album's amazing. I'm on a Beatles because I'm one of these people, I can't remember the names of songs.
Yeah.
I just can't. I know the song, I just can't remember the names. And that's how I'm with the Beatles. It's just so much stuff. And it's so good.
Yeah, it's it's tough to zero in on a favorite song of theirs, period. But I really like A Day in the Life.
Oh my God, I love A Day in the Life.
Day in the Life, and She's So Heavy.
I've gotten into that one. I love it now.
I can't even start
it's
to think of a favorite song of the Beatles. There's so many. I can't pick one.
I don't know if it counts, but Free as a Bird is probably like one of my
I think Free as a Bird's a good one.
At least top 5 or top 10.
That's the one that was unreleased, and they released it on the anthology set, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like the Beatles are like, there's eras of the Beatles. You know, you got like the boy band where they had a lot of great songs. Then you got like the midterm, which is like albums like Rubber Soul, this one, stuff like that. And then you got later albums,
the super psychedelic. But then you have,
you like the White Album, Let It Be,
then,
all
like,
that. Abbey Road. It's like to pick one song. It's like I can't do it.
Yeah, no.
And I won't.
And I won't do it.
I ain't gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
Dude, just listen to what you just said, right? They were together 10 years, right? And you just named 3 different zones in that band in those 10 years. There's, most bands are like, oh, this is where they jumped the shark. This is where they sold out. This is where they sold out. And you can tell there's 2 sides, right? Very rarely you're going to see 3 sides, another, them evolving again.
Me personally, I think there's 4. You have the boy band, the turn, the super psychedelic, then like the straight rock,
right?
Which is the White Album to Abbey Road,
right? So that's okay. We'll go with 4. Most bands are 2 if they get a chance to get to that.
Yeah.
It's just, dude, they broke the mold, man. It was just like perfect. It was magic, dude. It was just lightning in a bottle, I guess. Just insane. And we're still talking about it, and it's going on 60 years since they first started, or it's probably already is 60 years.
Yeah.
Over what they formed in 58, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Look, over 50 or 63 years, 64 years?
64.
And we're still talking about them, and we're still in awe.
The Quarrymen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Crazy, bro. They changed the world, dude. They were the blueprint for everybody that came after. Them and Elvis. For a band, it's the Beatles. They're the blueprint, and Elvis is for,
Yep.
Everything that happened to those 2 guys, pretty much. Tabloids, fans, music, criticism, political. They use their voice for everything. It's just just nuts. They were followed by the FBI. Didn't they follow John Lennon? What is it? Oh my God, J. Edgar Hoover. Weren't they following Lennon?
Yeah.
Political. It's like, dude, come on, are you serious?
Yeah, and they tried to pop them on marijuana
Yeah.
as their ticket to get him out.
Yeah, because they saw how much control this band had over the youth and the minds of people. And hey, bro, we don't want to mess up the status quo.
Yep.
Because they're kind of doing that. They're part of this change, and we don't want that change. They're not following us anymore. They grew up. Their eyes opened up.
And probably me personally, I think if Billy Preston would have joined during the Let It Be sessions, they probably would have had another 5 years on them, at least.
Yeah.
For sure, because he brought some a breath of fresh air to the group.
He really did.
Yeah.
That session probably wouldn't have finished if it weren't for him coming in.
Dude, it's just nuts, bro. Ugh.
It's pretty crazy that someone like Billy Preston would have come in and save the deal like that.
Breath of fresh air, dude. Maybe that's
crazy.
That's just what they needed.
George was trying to get Clapton to come in a few times to help record some stuff, and
yeah, he was almost the fifth member.
Never happened.
And to be honest, Billy Preston was a lot. Again, going back to the Ramones, like when CJ joined, it brought fresh air into the band and gave them another 5 years worth of albums, and then they ended. Like, if it weren't for him, they would have never went on.
It's nuts, dude.
Melancholy. Get a little melancholy, like we just listened to the album.
Dude, it's a great album, dude.
We were talking about it.
This album is just
so
insane, dude.
So good.
This might be probably one of the best ones we've done yet.
Yeah.
I agree with that
for sure.
And coming off of Master Puppets, that's pretty hard to say, but
dude,
we've done some good ones.
We have.
We've done some good ones.
Haven't done the Ramones yet, though.
Which ones?
Haven't done the Ramones yet, though.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
In our London Calling.
You guys missed. We did. Well, that was me and my buddy James. We did Misfits Static Age.
That's a good one. Dude.
Great record. Oh my god.
Amazing.
So real quick, who's your favorite Beatle?
That's always changed with me.
I think I know what Charles is.
Which one do you think it is?
Ringo.
Yeah, I think it's Ringo, man. I think it's Ringo too.
Yeah. I've grown into a Ringo fan too.
Yeah, it wasn't Gringo before. It definitely wasn't Gringo. I mean, not Gringo, Ringo.
Ringo. Ringo the Gringo.
Ringo the Gringo.
But yeah, he's the one. He's the one I like the most, bro. Ringo.
When I was younger, I could really never pick. I mean, it was either George or not George, but Paul or John.
I think for me it was.
As I got older, I'm like, Ringo's my man.
For me, definitely, it was always Paul. Paul was the main one for me.
I think I'm the big George Harrison.
And now I'm a George Harrison Ringo. They're almost one in. It's not about Lennon and McCartney anymore. It's about Ringo and Harrison for me. They're my favorites.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny how that changes.
Yeah, George is he's my favorite.
Yeah.
The when you get into some of the later songs that he did, like Something and some of the other record or songs that he did on Abbey Road, it's like,
I think the White Album, he really didn't have a bad song on the White Album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I guess you could argue Piggies, but even that isn't really that bad of a song.
Well, Let It Be, In Your Blue, I really liked. That's probably one of my top George songs.
Yeah.
Or I Me My.
We could do another Beatles album till next week if you want. I don't care. Dude, I'm gonna. You know what? Whatever you pick, I'm probably still gonna be listening to Beatles. Other than that, I've really been listening to them a lot. They're amazing. And the thing is, I've heard them before, man. And I'm just, oh my god, I forget how good this was.
It's like wine, man. It gets, like you said,
Gets
the older you get, man, your taste changes and stuff like that, and you hear things you didn't hear when you were younger.
Yeah.
Where it sounds better.
Yeah. Freaking great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who's next? Who's up on the chopping block?
Let's find out.
Let's go. Swing batter, swing batter.
Big money, no whammies, and stop.
Here, hang on a minute.
You got that shit down, Bo.
Clicky click.
Here we go.
Oh, damn it. We were so close, Jim.
Oh,
That's good.
Hey, that's all right. We got a good one here.
We do that. Yeah, real good one.
This one's good.
Awesome.
So, never mind. Which is, it's kind of cathartic or funny or what have you, but never mind in this book. Number 2.
oh wow.
So, and I've seen that high on other lists, but myself, I'm a big In Utero fan, but Nevermind is a great album.
I probably like Bleach the most out of all of them.
Oh, Bleach is great.
It's a lot more metal than a lot of their other stuff.
I like those raw first albums.
Yeah.
Like Kill 'Em All or Killing Is My Business or Bleach.
When are we doing this one, Donnie? Is it next week?
We want to do it next week?
I'm available.
Nice.
Sounds good to me.
Am I available?
The 19th.
Yeah, I think what is it?
The 19th.
Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. Damn, that's another dude. Two freaking really good albums.
We're making up for Tommy.
Wow. Oh, dude, it's gonna be fun talking about them too. I'm looking forward to it. I'm always looking forward to this. This is awesome, guys. This is a lot of fun. This is so.
There's you guys seen the Batman yet? There's a song from Nevermind in that movie.
Nice. I haven't seen it yet.
Except it's redone and slowed down. You know how like all these movies now they take a song and they slow it down,
Yeah.
just like the Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
Ding, ding, ding. It's just another casualty of songs, I guess, slowed down for the movie industry.
Yeah, but you know what? They're still using these songs, bro, because they can't come up with anything better.
That's right.
Because this shit was so good. So it's all right.
Doing that.
It's still that song. So
Who picked Nevermind, Donnie?
Yes. Nevermind was picked by
and who picked
Jay Hood.
And who picked the Revolver?
Revolver was Nick's Kicks and Comics.
Oh, that's right. Awesome.
So I'm going to reach out to Jay Hood and get his information and so forth. He may want to okay it. Who knows? I don't know what Jay Hood will be thinking.
Jamie's such a nice guy. He's such
I
good
like
guy.
Jamie. Jamie's a good guy.
Such a good guy, dude. Him and Coach. And Alan, the one that they do that Saturday morning show. They're really a fun show to watch.
Yeah, Alan's a freaking smart ass.
Dude, he's
I
great,
love it.
man.
Love
But
it.
the three of them together is a really, they got a good dynamic, man.
I follow Alan on Instagram,
Uh-huh.
and he just randomly posts a picture of that tree in his front yard. You'll see it come across your feed. It's like, he's watching the tree again. I love it.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, so there you have it. Next week, Nirvana's Nevermind. This week it was a seminal, classic album, groundbreaking album. That's the term I wanted to use at the beginning of the show, groundbreaking. And I'm not going to speak for the rest of the panel, but I think Nevermind was pretty groundbreaking, especially for that period in rock and roll.
The hairband killer.
The hairband killer.
That's what I call it.
So thank you to everybody who came in the chat. Gore, as always, John Stout, G-Man, Biggie. Who else was in here?
Oh, Captain Comics.
Oh, Captain Comics. And
John Stout.
If I missed that, John Stout. Always having good conversations in the chats, contributing to the show. We will see you next week, same time, right here on Mastodon Comics and Music. Tuesday for me, I got a show that I started last fall. Coming back, I'm going to have Alex Orbello on for a music conversation, and he is in the middle of he just started a new Kickstarter for the next issue of his series, The Gyro Universe. So we'll bump that at some point during the conversation. But after that, Nirvana next week.
Nice.
What do you guys got going on?
Nothing.
A whole lot of nothing.
Whole lot of nothing.
Whole lot of nothing. I'm gonna
All
get
right.
a crown. I'm gonna get a crown on Tuesday. If that
Oh God.
So I crown on Tuesday, baby. 10 o'clock. That's what I got going on.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go lay out and get some rays tomorrow, Donnie. Today's super cloudy and super windy, and it rained. Tomorrow's supposed to be baby blue skies, son. I think I'm gonna lay out, drink some sangria at the pool. What do you think?
It's supposed to be 50s and 60s here next week, so that snow outside will be gone. Anyway.
We digress.
We digress. All right. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, get out there and listen to some music.